Hi, I'm Doug Jessop. Welcome to this episode of Family Heritage Stories. With me today, Conrad Graff. Conrad, thanks for coming on today. I notice you've got, the jacket and the hat, and we've been talking with a lot of guys, and so obviously there's a reason. And I got asked, the first question, you probably get asked a lot. Why in the world is your helicopter upside down?
They tease me that that's the way I used to fly.
Oh, okay, so you're a pilot.
Yes.
Oh, well, pilots are a different breed. Okay, so how in the world did you become a pilot?
Well, I was a young man in high school looking for a way to become an adult and a career opportunity, and the rest, I guess, is history.
So where'd you go to high school?
Minnesota. Graduated from a place called Cretin High School, St. Paul. Christian Brothers, Army, ROTC High School. And spring of senior year, a buddy and I cut class. We were, we'd show up for turning in homework and tests and so forth. But we were seniors, and we got caught skipping. And for that, we were suspended for 30 days.
Whoa.
And leaving school that day, my buddy and I went down to the federal building in St. Paul and walked into the recruiter office and stopped at the Air Force, the Navy. We skipped the Marines. We ended up with the Army guy. And it was the best offer we had all day, is if you finish high school and pass the tests, you can become a pilot. So we showed up at homes with papers and too young to go in and sign up and so forth. And it's Mom, Dad, good news, bad news. I'm suspended I'm going to graduate. Don't worry about it. And of course, they're absolutely upset, and they're refusing to sign any papers. My friend and I both went through all of the testing and got accepted. We did our 30 days on the beach, so to speak, and went back, finished school, walked the stage at graduation, did not receive a diploma, empty scabbard, and then we showed up and we washed and waxed floors for 31 days to make up for our absence.
Oh, wow.
And that's when the battle started with my dad, and it was sign, I'm not, sign, I'm not. About October, he finally threw in the towel, and he signed the papers, and he said, whatever you do, don't get killed. Your mother will kill me.
Yeah.
And December after Christmas, I left and started my time in the Army.
So where was flight school?
Fort Walters, Texas, outside of Mineral Wells, outside of Fort Worth, and then Fort Rucker, Alabama.
So when you're a pilot, did they assign you the particular plane you're going to that you're going to be flying, or so what was the first thing you flew?
It was called an OH-23 Hiller, which was a Franklin reciprocating engine, underpowered, way past its prime, but it served its purpose. And slowly we moved up to the Huey, which was an early version of the Huey. And that was it. That was the first one.
So you're now officially a pilot.
Brand new.
Brand new. And where are you stationed first?
Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a year later, and I ended up in Vietnam. I think it was the 5th of January, 1969. First night at the reception station, there was a rocket mortar attack, and we're running for the bunker, and it's the seminal moment when my father's became the smartest man in the world, and it was the beginning of 18 months that I had in Vietnam.
So how in the world did you get into the 159th?
Well, that was not an easy thing to accomplish. I was assigned to an air cav squadron in the Delta. It was called Dong Tam. It was supporting the 9th Infantry Division, and very quickly saw how and what DustOff was and made a request to transfer into DustOff. It was denied, and at about February, March, another new aircav squadron was brought into country, and they did an infusion. They took half of us from one unit and just melded. And the difference was Dong Tam is in the Delta, and this new unit was up in Camp Eagle supporting the 101st. And those of us that were now infused were senior enough to become aircraft commanders, even though we really had no experience in the mountains and valleys and what have you. So reinstituted my request for a transfer to DustOff. And about July, they came through with everybody. You had a 3-year commitment out of flight school. The first year, everybody was going to Vietnam. They come back, usually an instructor role, and then the third year, you would go back to Vietnam. And about July, they came to me and said, came to all of us, said, if you extend your tour 6 months, we'll give you a 30-day leave, and you come back and do 6 months, and we'll approve your request for transfer to DustOff. So I did. And about October, November, the orders came through, and I was assigned to the parent unit of the 159th for probably till February of 1970.
So what was the difference as a pilot between DustOff and the other missions that you had done?
Well, we were all flying the Huey. DustOff was patient recovery, transport out of the field, in between hospitals. You know, we did ash and trash. We did all kinds of missions. There was a rotational, one day you're first up, the next day you're second up. I don't remember how it all worked. But everybody took a shot at this tough stuff and the easy, we got our easy stuff as well. In the Air Cav Squadron, you might be a single ship, you might be in a formation of 20 helicopters, you might be inserting, extracting troops, you might be doing resupplies. We certainly did some medevac work in all of that. It was endless. Whatever you could imagine they could use a helicopter for, we'd get the mission and off we go.
Why did you want to transfer?
It seemed like the place for the most good. It seemed like the opportunity to be with people that you just admired when you saw what they were doing and how they were doing it. We had casualties in the Air Cav Squadron. Anytime you get involved with something like that, you can't help but be touched and moved.
Right. Talking about that, you've got some crosses and some names on your vest.
These are gentlemen that served before I got to the unit, but their stories were shared immediately with me, and it's an honor to wear them.
So how did your experience in Vietnam translate to later life? Yeah, I had a tough time coming out of the military and back into the civilian world, and I did fine. It was probably 10 years of way too much alcohol and broken relationships. And then one day you realize that this day is a gift and you do something. I loved flying. I always have. And I started flying again. And I retired as a pilot. That's a good thing. Really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Kids?
I have a daughter and 2 grandsons.
So do your grandsons know your story?
No.
Do you want them to? Or what story do you want them to know, I guess is the better question.
Well, I think what I would want them to know is that we make choices all through our life, and we're going to make bad choices sometimes. Good. And that's okay. You just have to learn from them.
Yeah. Redemption.
Yeah. It's redemption.
Pilots have a different set of nerves, I guess is the polite way to put it. You know, because I've chatted with a lot of pilots, and my stepfather was a pilot, and so the commercial pilots, they say, you know, there's a whole bunch of boredom surrounded by some potential absolute terror.
That's right.
What is the most, so you were a pilot both in the war and after, what's the most satisfying thing about being a pilot?
Having all of your landings match the number of takeoffs.
Okay, I love that. So your record's 100?
Well, I've never scratched a civilian aircraft. I can't say the same about the military.
Okay. Well, now I got to find out. So, did you dump a? So, did a military aircraft maybe have had a problem when you were at the wheel?
Oh yeah, we all did, and I mean nothing intentional.
Of course.
It was all related to combat and the results of that. I'm sure they're going to ask me to repay them for some of them. You know.
Yeah, I think you paid your debt. I'm just saying, you know. So you guys get together. There's this group of you.
Sweet.
And you get together and you keep in touch. Why?
They showed me the way to duty, honor, and the way home.
It's a good brother.
I am blessed.
And we're blessed for the things that you've done, because the reality is that I look at this and I'm talking to these pilots in your group, and it was interesting. We were trying to figure out the math. So it's like you guys had over 1,000 missions, over 3,000 people saved, okay? But now we're both fathers, we're both grandfathers. I mean, you think about those people who had their kids that have then had their kids. And it's, I guess sometimes I don't know if we realize the impact we have on people's lives when we're there in the moment.
Right.
Did you guys have a feel for that? I mean, because I'm not sure that very many people could do what you guys did.
I think we just had a passion. I think that we were all young, I don't want to say kids, but we were very young, and I believed we were invincible. You know, it really is. You go out and you do something really stupid, and you'd talk about it, and you'd figure out a way around it. Yeah, these are good friendships, and it's times like this when we can come together and laugh and cry and hold each other. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Well, because you guys have been through things that a lot of people haven't, and you can describe things till you're blue in the face. Right. But if you haven't experienced, you haven't experienced. Yeah. So the name of my show is called Jessop's Journal. This is my autograph book.
Okay.
My journal's at home, you know, but this is my autograph book, and I get to have heroes like you be able to sign this. And so to me, leather's kind of cool because it has a patina, it has scars, it has marks. So how do you want to leave your mark?
A good man. A good man.
With another entry into Family Heritage Stories, I'm Doug Jessop.
Why is that? What if you run the damn string?